Hello everyone, welcome to GB Bricks. My name is Glenn. In today's video we're going to be reviewing one of the new Mario Kart sets released by LEGO in the January wave. This is 72031, the Yoshi Bike. Now recently I did review the Donkey Kong set, the DK Jumbo. I'll put a card to that in the top right hand corner if you want to see my views on that set. I use a 5-point scoring system for my reviews. I look at the build experience, the building techniques, the overall aesthetic, the minifigures if included, and the value in terms of the price, and then give each set a scored amount at the end. So what did I think of this set? Well, let me show you. Let's start by looking at the build experience then, and it is only a quick build. It takes, I don't know, half an hour I guess. There were 133 pieces in total, but it is enjoyable to put together. That consists of 3 bags in total. The first bag you will focus on the side builds and Yoshi himself. So you'll build the traffic cones, the item block, and as I said, Yoshi. In bag 2 you start to build the body of the bike, kind of the internal part, and then in bag 3 you'll start to add the aesthetic side of it. The actual Yoshi head starts to look more like a Yoshi bike, and you'll put the wheels on, etc. until you're finished with the build. Yeah, as I said, it is an enjoyable build. It's only small, but it's one of those where you just want to build something. You don't have a huge amount of time, or you don't want to get a big set out. You don't want to have to store it for days and days while you're putting it together. You want something nice and quick and enjoyable, and it really does fit the bill, and it ticks all the boxes on that front. In terms of the building techniques then, again, there's nothing major to be found here. There's nothing particularly special, but then I don't think you'd expect there to be in a build this small and with this few pieces. You have the Yoshi build, of course, and there is some studs on side build in there. For the bike itself, again, it's nice to see it come together. There's nothing major involved. Its majority of it is brick built. There are a couple of larger kind of chassis pieces here that the wheels connect to, and most of the technique itself really comes from sculpting the Yoshi head. There's not a huge amount to it really. It's quite standard, quite basic, but even in a basic build it's nice to see LEGO at work when it comes to putting together vehicles. I do always find it quite fascinating, even if you're going from something high end like a Technic set, or even something like a Speed Champions set, down to Lego City, cheap $8.99 builds or something like this, just to see how they all come together, because they're all quite different in their build. I always find that quite enjoyable. Let's move on to the overall aesthetic now then, and I must say it does look very impressive. You get the feeling straight away that it is one of the bikes from the Mario Kart series. I do love the brick built Yoshi head. I think that looks very good. I love the use of what is all prints. There are no stickers in this set, which is how it always was with the Mario Lego sets. They never used stickers. It almost started to feel like it was like a condition from Nintendo themselves that there were to be no stickers in the sets. I don't know if that is the case, but that's how it felt, because all of them had prints. And then this wave, actually, I bought my first ever Nintendo related Lego set that had stickers in, which was the Donkey Kong DK Jumbo, and I was kind of anticipating having the same here when I saw details such as this, but they are all prints, which is great to have, and a nice return to form. It's a shame that's not the case across the whole of this line. You have the general curves of the bike look good, and they're achieved quite comfortably. These pieces have been around for the longest time, and they give a nice look to the bike. I like the colours of it. Obviously the classic green of Yoshi with the white is very striking, and those prints really do top it off quite nicely. You have some movement in the set by these parts here, which is achieved by a ball joint, and these in the instructions are in a downwards pose as such, and in the back of the box, or on the back of the box, they're shown in a bit more of a dynamic pose like that. But what I do really like about the set in general is actually that you can get some really dynamic poses with it, leaning the bike on its side quite effortlessly to really, get a a sense of the speed and the chaos that Mario Kart is well known for. Let's have a look at some of these side builds, because I think they really do add to the aesthetic and the overall feel and feeling of the set. So the first is the question mark block, which obviously look different in Mario Kart. They are this kind of translucent blue colour, and that's achieved by the opalescent 1x2 bricks, with again the question mark on there being a print. I think they look fantastic. Actually, I'd love to get some more of these and really kind of bulk out a Mario Kart scene. And they stand on these, what are they? I think they're 1x2x2 transparent bricks, and that's been done across the whole Mario range to give the impression of a floating block. You also get 4 of these traffic cones, 2 in red, 2 in dark blue. And again, I think they do a very good job of looking like exactly what they're meant to be, and again adding to the chaos of any scene that you'd like to put together in the Mario Kart line. And you also, on top of that, get 2 of the shells. Get a red one and a green one. The green one is currently in the bike. It's got a stud shooter, and again they also came with the Donkey Kong set. I know that because I own it, and I'm assuming they'll be used across the line in the other sets as well. And finally, you get another one of these, something else that we've seen in some of the other sets, being the banana piece. Let's just take that stud off. Being the banana piece there, and that's a lovely mould. And again, having a few of those, as you buy each of the sets in this wave, you can really start to litter the floor of any track with any number of hazards to really get across the feeling of the game. Let's show you that stud shooter in action. I did this on my Donkey Kong review and I was terrified I was going to break my telly. So once again, let's see if we can avoid that, shall we? So here it is, and you just push down the lever there. Let's hold it that way, that might be easier. Here we go. There we go. Almost broke my laptop instead. So the next part of my 5-point scoring system is minifigures. And of course there is not a minifigure per se in this set, but there is a brick built Yoshi. And this is a brick built model that's been used many times by LEGO in a few of the Nintendo sets. And not just the sets themselves, but also the kind of blind box Mario CMF series, I guess you could call it, that they did, had a couple of these Yoshis in it as well. So it's nice to get another one. They've gone with the blue colour this time as opposed to the more traditional green, and that's a very good choice, owing to the fact that the bike itself of course is green. If you'd have had a green Yoshi on top, it'd have been a bit too much, and it's nice to see the blue. We've had the red Yoshi in the past in this form, and the yellow as well as the blue of course, so I don't know if we've had this colour before, but it's definitely one I don't remember seeing as much, and it's always nice to get a different variation in terms of colour of this character. I did really enjoy the build for him. I've seen this build many times, but I do think it's so clever. I love the way that LEGO sculpt these Mario figures, and I've never really been that fussed about brick-built characters in LEGO. It's not something that I think is particularly great or interesting, but the Mario series, as long as it's been running, has really changed my mind to it. I loved the blind boxes they did, the CMF series of all the enemies and what have you. And these again, I just think they're so clever, and I really do appreciate the outcome. I think they look fantastic, and it's almost a shame that Mario, Luigi and Peach use the electronic Mario, because they don't look as good, and obviously they're the main characters. But yeah, these brick built characters are lovely. Nice, quick, easy build, but yeah, really comes together nicely. It's a shame, and it seems to be the case all the time, that the white printing on the coloured brick is not opaque enough, and it just doesn't quite look right. It looks like light blue as opposed to the white it should be. It was the same with Donkey Kong in the print that you got for him, but aside from that, I do think it's a very nice little model. So this set will set you back £12.99 or your regional equivalent, some of which will be at the bottom of your screen now. And as I mentioned earlier, it does have 133 pieces. I also said it's not a very long build. It takes about half an hour, give or take. But that I don't see as a negative. You don't want to spend a huge amount of time making Lego all the time. It's about the end product sometimes and how good it looks. And I do think this is a lovely little set. It stands nicely with the other Mario Kart sets, or at least the ones I have. Not just the new Mario Kart ones, but also the Bowser set that came out last year and was kind of a bit of a tester, I think, for Lego to see if Mario Kart sets would sell well. And yeah, I know, I think that this is a nice amount of stuff, you know, the little side builds. I'm never overly fussed about side builds, but I think in this instance, they've done very well to give you pieces that if you were ever to build yourself a track or, you know, create a diorama with these pieces in, you're starting to really collect pieces that are almost essential to the Mario Kart theme, such as the item blocks, even these traffic cones. I mean, they're not the first thing you think of, I wouldn't say, in Mario Kart, but you can certainly see the use for them if you were ever to build up a scene. And again, things like the banana peel and the 2 shells there as well are great. You can of course use the interactive parts of it, so there's one on the item block and one on the bike itself. With the aforementioned figures, the Mario, Luigi and Peach, interactive figures that you'll have to buy separately. Unfortunately, my Mario has run out of battery, so I can't show you the functionality, but I have seen some of it, and they are all new noises that it makes, obviously specific to driving and kind of picking up items or crashing, things like that. It's very clever, and I'm sure younger children will really appreciate that and have a good amount of fun using that feature. To conclude, the Yoshi Bike, I feel, is a very well made set for a very good price point. £12.99. Yes, it's not the biggest build in the world. The bike itself, I guess you could argue, is not much bigger than the £8.99 Lego City cars vehicles that you'd get. Obviously this includes a license, so that I'm sure does see the price go up a tad, and you do get some nice side builds with it, which in isolation I guess aren't massively impressive, but again, if you're building a Mario Kart world and if you're putting together any sort of diorama, they'll definitely come in handy. It scales well with the other vehicles that I've got at least, and I do include the Bowser muscle car in that, albeit it's not officially part of the Mario Kart line. And it's an enjoyable build for what it is. It's a quick one, but that's not a negative as far as I'm concerned. The Yoshi Bike gets a GB Bricks combined score of 82%. So there you have it, that's my thoughts on 72031, the Yoshi Bike. A nice little set, I'm very impressed with this. I'm loving this Mario Kart wave so far. The others that have been released I'm going to wait for a sale on because they are the more expensive sets. And Donkey Kong was my favourite character, so I picked him up a bit early. But on the whole, I cannot knock the quality of these sets so far. Yep, very happy. Have you picked any of these up? Please do let me know in the comment section below. If you would like to watch some more of my content, there are playlists available. I do haul videos, I do top 10 lists, I do reviews of course, mock building, a whole host of things. So yeah, please do give some of my other content a watch. But until next time, happy building.